Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of So What You Hear. I'm Jay,
I'm Craig.
Tiff.
and we have already had a bunch of things happen in the first half of this week.
Yep.
First of all, Daniel Jones is finally the hell out of my problem.
Maybe.
Took him forever.
Oh no, he's not the third. He's not the backup.
He's the third string?
Yeah, Drew Lockett's the backup.
It took him.
We just signed a quarterback to our practice squad.
Damn.
It took him 11 weeks.
That's mean.
It took him 11 weeks.
We owe him like 50 million dollars if he gets hurt.
Yeah, so it's like you got like
We're doing to him what they did to Russ.
No,
Like
Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, they did the same thing to Russ. They benched him in the middle of the year after the Chiefs were winning. Because remember, people were like, you won. But that's the advantage. In this one, Daniel Jones is
Because Johnny has an injury clause.
Yeah. And if we cut him before March, I think we save another like 12 million. If we cut him before June, we save like 20 million. And so he's gonna be gone. Like as soon as we can get rid of him, he's gone.
He's gone. That's life.
Yeah.
I mean, they did. They really tried. He gave him all the opportunities to take hold.
No, that's the problem. Because I'm also hearing that there might be an air that Daboll might be coaching for his job. We're putting DeVito in.
Oh, you talking about okay, so y'all playing, who y'all playing? Y'all playing somebody good, aren't you?
Not good enough that I don't think we could beat him with DeVito.
I wrote it down. Hold on. Y'all playing the G-Men. Y'all playing the Bucks. So y'all gonna lose. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Watch
You
what
gonna
happens,
lose.
and I'm gonna be pissed.
And
Because
you gonna
we're
be
gonna end
like,
the season because Tommy DeVito is gonna win about 3-4 games out of the end of the season, which is just enough to push us to like 6-7.
now y'all might get close to beating the Bucks, would make y'all feel better about like the decision of keeping him, and then I think y'all play us. Who y'all play? I think you play us after that.
Yeah.
'Cause y'all play us Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So that's the win. So
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
But that was probably gonna be a
can't
win
wait.
anyway.
Because
keep
I'm like,
winning.
we gonna.
Dallas
keep
needs
winning,
to
baby.
lose. We on the same.
Shador will be your Titan.
I need.
Keep on winning, G-Man.
We like I said,
Keep
we're not
on
going.
winning.
Dallas not going for a quarterback, no way. So even if we do get a better draft, you don't have nothing to worry about with
The
that.
only thing that's saving my potential
And now the Panthers worse than you.
is who's not gonna trade. No, we lost to them. Yeah. Do you know who's not trading the number 1 pick to those guys over there?
Who?
The Jacksonville Jaguars, who with Mac Jones is probably going to end up with the number 1 overall pick.
Oh, he's on our rumors list though, so we gotta wait for the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah.
That's our
But
rumors.
even for that, well, yeah, we'll get back to some fun rumors that might be happening for y'all if you're a Jags fan. But they're not giving the Titans the number 1 pick. I don't know if they'd give the Raiders the number 1 pick because it's still the AFC. So if you're talking about not having something come bite you in the ass, the best thing for them to do would be to trade a bunch of stuff for us, who really have nothing to do with them, and get a bunch of picks late.
Yeah. But like I said, like if it's
We'll lose to Jacksonville in week 17 and become the number 1 overall pick, and we won't have to worry
You're
about
not gonna lose
this.
to Jackson. You're not gonna lose to Jackson.
like I said, we don't.
Gabe
Dallas
Davis out all
don't need
season.
a quarterback, so we're not worried about it.
Gabe Davis is out the rest of the season.
We'll lose.
Okay. Doug Peterson is probably gone.
If Dallas
Trevor
pick up a
Lawrence will be
quarterback,
back.
I would lose my mind.
No, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is coming back.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
We'll go back.
We'll see about that. Well, in other news of people being told to take a hike, Joe Douglas is out as the Jets GM, which, I mean, just the last third of the season, that's a little crazy to just like, yeah, screw it.
Yeah,
I
they're
guess
mad at him for a
Woody's
bunch
like,
of
yeah,
stuff.
I'm cleaning the house.
I've been hearing a lot of division. I heard that they were giving Lazard and a second for Judy, and he came in and was like, no. I already came in and told them that they needed to bench Rodgers and let Tyrod Taylor finish the season. And I heard that might be part of the reason Joe Douglas is gone, because there was a little bit of a like,
No,
okay.
is it the bench Rodgers because they're bad, or he is saying they don't want him to get hurt and maybe save him for next year?
That's the problem with it being rumor mill stuff.
Because I didn't think about
You're
that.
still
They
not
could
full
be
story
trying to
yet.
like, you just sit here.
Rumor mill, I'm hearing that he's possibly taking another ambassador position, so he's worried that if he doesn't find a coach and a
Well, that's
GM
what I'm
now,
saying.
he won't be in the country in the offseason.
But that's what I'm saying though too. Like you don't want
Which
your
we could
starting
restart next year.
quarterback getting hurt, so you just chill out here because all this is about to get purged anyway, and then
Yeah.
we'll just reset. So I can see that. I can see that being like, why is he still out here
when we know, and he is older, he is coming off injuries, he is a little beat up. Like,
yeah, let him. Yeah. So,
I mean, literally, all the Jets have to do next year is just every round draft a lineman.
yeah.
Like, draft 7 linemen, figure out the best 5 out of what you got and what you drafted, and your team's fixed.
Yeah.
The whole reason that team sucks is that offensive line is trash. They can't run the ball, they can't pass the ball.
Poe Rogers running around trying not to die.
So all you got to do is in the offseason, everything you sign, whether it's a draft pick or a free agency, better be a lineman. And do that, and y'all will be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple.
Is that simple?
I should be their GM.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, y'all life will change immensely.
I'm okay with that.
Mommy, what does Daddy look like? I don't remember, honey.
And trust me, what's
Daddy will be sitting right
We'll
over there.
zoom
That's
him.
cool. You can be
No,
GM.
I see me be more like a Joe Shane, where like I'm
I
sitting
mean,
there
you're
like, Deanna,
close.
who do you think we should draft?
It's close enough.
Barney.
We close enough to Jersey. You be all right.
It's gonna be cold though.
You be all right.
I can afford a North Tech. I said a North Tech. That's
What
not
the
a shoe.
fuck is
A
that?
North Face. I think I was trying to say North Face and Gore-Tex together. It came out of North Tech. But
The Dreamcast.
yeah, can't afford it.
All right. I'm
All
sorry.
right, moving on. Man, there's crazy rumors with all this stuff coming out too, like just random behind the scenes things. Now a lot of it comes from an overreaction on the McAfee show yesterday, but I'm hearing that Baltimore fans are getting. I actually had heard this last year.
Yeah.
That Baltimore fans are getting tired of losing to Tomlin and getting kicked out of the playoffs.
You know what? You should be mad. You should be upset. You should be furious. I think all y'all should get together, sign petitions, sign papers, get rid of Harbaugh. He needs to go.
She wants him to come.
She's
down.
trying to coach so bad.
She's so tired. She don't know. She's so tired of what's going on over there. She's trying to figure
Well,
whatever the best for them.
But at the same time, a lot of people, and not this season obviously, but a lot of people said that about McCarthy in Dallas. People were like, you need to get a new coach. Dallas fans were like, we need a new coach. And everybody else is like, you know how much I wish my team could go 10-6 and go to the playoffs every year?
You can have him.
You know what?
Will be free.
Maybe y'all do need like a defensive minded coach who prefers.
Wade Phillips was defense.
But Wade Phillips had a good team. He just didn't have enough offensive mind that he couldn't run the whole team.
That's true. I'll give you
Harbaugh's a
If you have
defensive minded guy.
You get a good OC with a good say it was like you guys brought in Mike Vrabel. That'd be good. He's hands on.
Mm-hmm.
He does
Can really relate to the guy. You know what he can teach Michael Parsons?
Like, so my thing is like there's definitely options out there besides, but I can understand you're wanting a Harbaugh.
If they're not happy, then fine. Because I think some of the problem with the team and why they can't beat the Steelers is more Lamar than your coach.
My man Lamar.
Oh, your man's a choke artist.
He's seeing Steelers
choke
go.
artist.
He's a choke artist. And it's not just the Steelers.
It's
If you look at
anybody who
most
is
big games,
Physical, he cannot
the
deal
playoffs,
with super physical teams.
he jokes.
If they
He's a remarkable talent. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not like, oh,
but
yeah,
if
that
you
guy's
can
got to
hit
go.
him and hit him a lot.
He falls apart.
It's
If he can't out athletic you, he tends to fall apart.
Like they have the right defensive line and linebackers that put so much pressure on him. Because the thing about it is if your defensive line can overpower their offensive line, he's done for.
Yeah.
You see Peyton Ellis take that pick right out of what's his name hand?
Yeah.
No ACL, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, you said Jared Verse for your possible defensive player of the year. There's only 3 players that have been ranked 80% success rate, pass rushing and against the run. TJ Watt, Dexter Lawrence, and Jared Verse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that says a lot for that. That's, yeah.
I told you my rookie.
That
my
kid is a
rookie, My
monster.
defensive rookie of the year. I told you might be him.
That kid is a monster. But anyway, jumping back to rumors. And the other starting to start the rumor mill is Bill Belichick wants to go to Jacksonville.
I can see that. Wants to go somewhere warm, somewhere where the culture he can rebuild it and build it.
And the women are young. Yeah.
I mean, hey, he got.
I mean, he's got a quarterback. There's nobody that looks at Trevor Lawrence and isn't like, oh, on a good team he'd be really good.
Yeah.
And I think if he brought the way he coaches to a young team like that to give them stability.
Mm-hmm.
And he can have full control in
yeah, exactly.
Jacksonville.
And
Because Shad Khan's like, I'm a football fan. I don't know what I'm doing. You run it.
and then he's good at defense. And he's going to get a nice offensive coordinator because he's going to have people going to come work with him. So,
Yeah.
that's not a problem. So,
Yeah.
and that's
And
going to
nothing
be
else. Josh
Josh
McDaniel.
McDaniel follow him.
He'll end up.
And, so that'll
and
work.
yes, he's trash as a head coach. He's an amazing offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
His schemes are good in offense, so he knows what to do. And
He's
they
the
have,
opposite of Wade Phillips.
tons of young talent. And
Yeah.
So
I mean, they lost Gabe Davis to injury, but he'll be back next year. Evan Ingram is a stud for them. ETN is a dog. Tank Bigsby is a
So you
dog.
think we stick with Jacksonville?
and Brian Thomas, don't worry about the rookie.
We could. Brian
Like
Thomas
that.
is amazing. Josh Allen is phenomenal. I mean, one of the better pass catchers coming up.
I mean, look, they ran into a buzzsaw of the Lions. Anybody who gets
Yeah.
the Lions is getting cut up. So
I mean, that was just
and that was a
mean.
buzzsaw of the line. They didn't have all their players, and they were just looking. They looked.
It was just
That was a
mean.
rough, tough game anyway.
It was
52-6.
mean.
It was just, and Mac Jones is trash.
He's so bad. That was that was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I had to bench Cousins in my fantasy. I know we don't have that out here, but Cousins is not.
That's Michael Penix better get up in the box.
He is not making me happy. Like, oh my
Look,
goodness.
I haven't had a problem with quarterback at fantasy this year.
Like,
I
he's
thought I
the
was.
reason why I lost. Like,
I thought I was gonna lose because he had Saquon Barkley and there was somebody else that had Anthony Richardson put up 33 points.
like
But Jared Goff
Told
gave
you.
me 59.
Cousins, man. They barely beat them. They won 1 point.
And they won.
They beat by 1 point. So I was like, I told
look,
you.
they're 5-6. They're 2 games.
They
behind
beat by
Texans.
1 point. Don't be like, I told you. Don't do that.
Speaking of Texans, there's some things I want to get to on that, which brings us to our next segment. We're gonna play a little game.
Oh, I thought you were trying to be funny. Okay. I'm okay.
Oh my God!
I'm-
This AFC West is getting tight.
Yeah, it is. It is getting tighter. But I'm gonna play a little game. We're gonna play divisional contender pretender. Shut up. And we're gonna go through all the leaders of the divisions and see who we think really deserves to be there.
Okay, sounds good.
Start with the NFC.
Yes.
The NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Regals.
Look,
I hate it.
Saquon's amazing. They're frauds. They've been
I
beating
don't
bad
know
teams. They're
how
not
they're-
going to beat good teams.
Even when they've been playing, like they just
honestly,
Name a top team they play.
They squeaked by it,
They squeaked
but
by
they
even
haven't
the
played
good
a perfect game yet.
And they
No.
haven't played none of the teams we have on here have they really played. Everybody has been guys that we know aren't making the playoffs, aren't really, they're good, they're not great. They have not beat a team
the
that's really
Eagles-
about that yet.
but they're still winning. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and that's
I
the thing
don't
with
think they're
this.
gonna make it to the Super Bowl.
Look,
Exactly.
Look, we're in week 12. They'll be playing. They're going to play their 11th game this week. It's hard. It's going to be like all they got to do is somehow put together another 3 or 4 wins, and they're obviously in the playoffs.
Well, they're
Yeah,
definitely in the playoffs.
But this isn't
Yeah.
contender pretender playoff. This is Super Bowl contender pretender.
They even beat the Commanders. So like,
My thing with that is out of the NFC, out of the leaders, only person the buzzsaw. Well, if they face the Bucks again in the playoffs, they'll probably lose. Seems like Baker has the Eagles number.
Yeah.
To that. But other than that, I don't see anybody in NFC West who could honestly dethrone them that well. I mean,
I think Arizona could beat them.
the Eagles could beat Arizona.
no.
The Eagles could beat Arizona.
And then like the Niners aren't even themselves right now. And then besides the Lions and maybe the Vikings, possibly
The Eagles could beat the Falcons.
You rematch that Packers game, not in Brazil on that garbage field, and they
Okay.
beat them.
Okay, and Jordan Love is not hurting.
And Jordan Love doesn't get hurt before the end of the game.
I don't know. They could beat the
It's
Falcons.
gonna be interesting. They could make it to the NFC Championship.
All right. Well,
I mean, I'm not saying they gonna go out here and just
Oh,
mud
yeah.
stomp anybody, but if they can
Depending how their schedule
if
falls.
all right. Well, then
play-
we'll stamp it. You
what's
calling
his
them a
name?
contender or a pretender?
What's the boy name? I cannot think of their quarterback name.
Jalen
Jalen Hurts.
Hurts. He plays to the end. He does. So they play hard until the clock gets to 0. They play very hard, and that's how they end up winning a lot of times because they don't stop. Like so,
That's true. A lot of their games come, they win.
They
They pull
come
out the last.
right to.
Like with Saquon, the Redskins were just tired. He got them last touchdowns, just beat him out.
They just beat them at the end. Like
Ran him out the stadium.
Okay.
So I believe they're a contender. It's just we hate to
I
say
don't
it.
think they should be winning the way they are, but they are winning, and
Yeah.
that you can't take the W away. Like,
Playoffs, I give them contender. I'm talking Super Bowl. I don't think they're an
but
elite
like
team.
even
I
Like I
think they're
said,
a fraudulent
it
team.
depends on
it
that.
I
depends
think
on
they're
who
going to
they
be
see.
another one of them
If they
teams that
see
was
the
really good in the
Lions,
playoffs,
if they
hits the or in the regular season, hits the playoffs, and we see that they're the trash they really are.
it depends on who they playing in the playoffs.
It depends how it
Okay.
falls. That's true. It's very true.
Like, because there's teams that they can definitely beat that are winning that are leading the division that they can beat in the playoffs.
Okay, well, we just had this debate. So, Arizona, do you see them as a contender or a pretender?
They're just. I think that
I think they're pretenders.
I think they have gotten lucky with who they played. They've had some. They beat some teams that they should have beat. They've lost a lot of teams they shouldn't have probably lost to. Their divisions. Everybody's one game behind them.
Yeah.
So this division's up for grabs, and it's going to come down. Obviously, it's going to come down to these last 5-6 weeks.
And you know how that goes. That when they're that close in their own division, they end up beating themselves. They beat themselves down so hard trying to beat their division.
That's true.
So by the time they get to the playoffs,
They're
tired. They're
Yeah.
worn because it took so much to get the division
And
down.
this is a young team with a young head coach.
I'm going to be like, if I was an Arizona fan, I would be very happy about this team. I think in the next couple of years, with proper development offseason and player additions, they can be a contender and actually pretty quickly. Like they have a lot of fight scrap.
They run the air out of the ball.
But I'm gonna be real. I don't
to see Murray's.
I don't
ceiling.
think we are.
Honestly, the reason is we haven't seen the ceiling is because we haven't seen a perfect game from him.
I don't think you are.
I think that's what she's saying.
I don't know. I mean,
I
the thing
don't-
is, if they run the ball like they do with James Conner, you got to worry about that. And then when Conner has the ball, you have to still worry about his legs. And occasionally, let's not like Marvin Harrison Jr. He's not decent. They have weapons, and then
Yeah.
the tight end with Trey McBride, they have people. So it's like their offense, they can like now in a shootout. I don't see them go, but I feel like if you push come to shove, if it came down to it, they could find a way to possibly shoot it out with you. It's just not in their. It's not in the way how they're built.
Well, that's why I think their best bet would be to go. If you look at how that offense runs, I think their best bet moving forward would be shore up the defense because they run a complementary defensive scheme. Kyler Murray seems best in like that run first play action. He almost has that old school Russell Wilson play
Yeah.
where like he plays off the play action, big plays off of play action, and just ground and pound. Their defense isn't quite shut down enough to be able to win with the top tier offenses like that. You shore up that defense, yeah. But I'm gonna be honest. I think the entire division's pretenders. I think San Francisco is kind of trash this year. I think Geno is inconsistent, and the bigger the games get, the worse he gets. And who else is in the division?
You said Rams.
The Rams.
And
They're one of the greatest teams on the field one week, and they're the worst team you've ever seen the next. And you can't do that. So I mean, there's with how close they are, the Rams could sneak in, and let's say we've seen teams that all of a sudden the good games start linking
And
together
now
for the
the
playoffs.
Eagles beating down the Rams.
Well, yeah.
That's true.
Well, good game Rams, no. Bad game Rams, God, yes. Like them games where they come out and they're connected and they're all.
If the Rams had the good game where they had Puka and Cup going off, and then Kyron Williams was running the ball with
Blake Corum.
And I see the Eagles squeaking it
Remember,
out
their
and beating them by
defense
two
is becoming alive towards the.
I mean, we just brought up Jared Verse.
But that's the thing is Saquon, he gets fuel going.
Mhm.
So I see them squeaking it out at the very end, winning by like a field goal.
We'll see, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Well, here comes a pretty easy one. The NFC North. Like we're probably not even gonna. The Lions.
I
Yes,
don't
contender.
see. I can't. See anybody
The Lions are
doing
9-1. The Vikings are 8-2, and the Packers are 7-3. And
The-
And
The
I thought
only
the-
team that
I
I'm
thought
like-
the Vikings were gonna give them more of a push.
Yeah.
And they
There is maybe
Beat 'em
three
up.
teams. There's maybe 3 teams total that I think could give the Lions go. The Bucks got them earlier, but I don't know one, especially we got one not coming back. I don't know if that's going to happen. But the Steelers, because we're just seeing them matching everybody.
yeah.
The Ravens, as long as Lamar doesn't play off,
I see the
Lamar doesn't
Lions.
lose the NFC team.
and the Bills.
I see the Lions.
Outside of them, I don't think any of them other teams can even stand them.
So you talking about the Super Bowl?
Yeah, like NFC
I
or
see the Lions beating all the teams. I see them beating the Steelers in the Super Bowl. I can see them beating the Ravens.
oh God, yes.
I see
No,
them
I'm
beating
saying
Kansas
that's
City
the only
in the
ones
Super
I see.
Bowl.
I don't think Kansas City would be a problem. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore are probably the only teams that I'm like that would be a good game. Everybody else, I'm like, yeah, Detroit's gonna
Buffalo,
roll
if
with.
Buffalo even make it to the Super Bowl, you want to check on their fans at the end of that Lions game because I think they'll have flashbacks. It's gonna be like, oh, all the way back again. Like What are we in the 90s? What just happened? Like, I think it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, they're real. Lions are real.
The Lions are real. Now this one is a lot easier on the other way. The
Man,
Falcons.
pretenders because
They're
Pretenders.
trash.
I'm
because
sorry.
they had
Cousins,
they had
I
they
don't
had,
know
they had a
what
2
that
game
is.
lead. They still have they have like a game and a half lead now because they've been losing. They lost the last two games that they shouldn't have lost.
I mean, if they don't play
Even
the
some of their
Bucks right
wins,
after
You're
losing,
trying to figure out how they won. So like I think they're pretenders.
yeah.
And let's be
Even
real. They
even the
go-
one
they
against
go-
the Bucks right after Evans and Godwin went down does not happen if Evans or Godwin plays.
Yeah.
Like if Evans and Godwin are playing, they're the best. They're one of the best teams other than Detroit in the NFC. And
Baker was making it work without them.
Yeah.
and he almost beat them without him. So no, there's no way. I don't even think they'll have the division by the end of the year because Mike
no.
Evans should be back in another week or so.
Yeah, they-
I don't think they'll have it by the end of the year.
They're
I think Tampa's going to win that
the
division.
wrong way. They're
Yeah.
gonna have to figure out
And
really
I'm gonna be
quickly
real on that
what's
though.
They're gonna have to figure out quickly what's the problem.
Even though I definitely think the Bucks are better and are more deserving to win the division, when it gets to the top teams, I don't think Tampa's beaten.
I think the problem with them.
Well,
is
they did beat Detroit earlier. But
my problem is going to be they need their weapons. They need, and as much as they have Mike Evans, they need Chris Godwin to be in the middle.
But that's like
Yeah.
that Bucks team that beat Detroit though is not the team we have right now. Like
yeah,
when's Evans coming back?
it should be in a week or so.
Week or two.
Because like they had because
Yeah.
you know how what is wrong with me today? Mayfield and Evans got like
Yeah.
But
I
they
mean,
all
Bucky Irvin's amazing.
As
Like,
well as Rasheed White.
yeah.
They have 2 running backs who are good coming, but they need their wide receivers. And even Kate Otten, their tight end.
Because I mean, Sterling Shepard is actually having a really good season. It's just they don't really have anybody they don't have that man-to-man beater. Like Sterling Shepard is I can get open guy.
Yeah.
Mike Evans and
Right.
Godwin were okay. I can outrun
And
this
you have
guy,
to
and Mike Evans like, oh, I'll
focus,
just catch it over him.
Yeah. And they're focused on them. So
Yeah.
now other people, you know how it goes, can do what they need to do because they're focused on Evans and stuff. So
But
yeah.
I still don't think still don't see the Bucks as a real like Super Bowl contender. But
No.
Atlanta definitely isn't.
Yeah.
So-
pretender. So yeah.
So that wraps up the NFC. They made that pretty easy. I mean, I guess we kind of back and forth about Philly and Arizona.
Well, like I don't like to admit I hate Philly,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it is what it like. I don't think they should be winning these games, but they are, and until they start losing, that's all I got to go with. Is,
Yeah.
What they've done. Bills.
Brings us to the NFC East. Bills.
AFC.
AFC East. AFC
Yeah.
East.
I think the Bills are gonna do what the Bills do. They gonna
Bills
be
are
good.
Bills are gonna make it to the playoffs per usual, and then it's gonna be can they get over the hump?
They're the Cowboys of the
The
AFC.
only reason I don't know is because this is a different Bills team than what I'm used to seeing. It's not Josh Allen going out there and having to just like
No,
beat everybody.
Him and James Cook is really running the ball well.
They run the offense. It's
yeah.
not just
And
Josh
then
Allen making
when
plays with the
things
offense.
start to go ugly, he starts to revert back to Josh
But
Allen.
that's where they're
The
starting to
games they
call
lost,
runs
he
now.
looked the games they lost, he
They,
looked
they,
just
but,
like
they're, but they're getting the
himself.
ball out of his hands more.
He's only lost two games, right?
Yeah,
And they
so.
look like themselves. Like I'm sorry, I think when we get in the playoffs,
I think you have a
I
predisposed
don't
not.
have a pre-
I think no matter how good
we
Buffalo
do
gets,
this
you're going to say
every
this.
year, and then when they lose, then what? Like I'm sorry.
I mean, look, until they beat the Chiefs in the
Until
playoffs,
it happens,
they
I'm
beat
not
the Chiefs in
gonna
the regular
believe it.
season every time,
Okay.
and then when the playoffs they lose.
Cause with the only reason I'm sorry, even when they got the one year when the boy the heart, they were losing that game. Like it was earlier, but then they gave
That's
it to them. But like,
I mean, they never replayed it. Remember this?
no, but the Bengals they already kind of gave it over the Bengals. But who knows how that game would have went if they had played that game? And I'm sorry, when the closer they get to the playoffs, they get worse and worse. And the playoffs do something. Like it's just, they're different.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
They have to be careful because now they have a loss. The Chargers are going to be up. The Chargers are coming up the rear, and the Broncos are not too far.
And Bo Nix is playing phenomenal.
Bo Nix,
And
they look
and they're
good.
getting better and better each week. The Broncos play.
I don't think the Chiefs are a real contender. I think they're a contender. I think they've been playing
Patrick
easy
Mahomes
games.
had
They've got
this is
bailed
Patrick
out of
Mahomes'
games.
statistical worst
I've
year
seen that
ever.
happen.
It is.
He has as many interceptions as he has touchdowns.
I don't know how they win. It's the same thing like I said with the Eagles, but they are winning. I don't know what to tell you. And
They're
then like
9-1.
every time you think, even the Super Bowls, some of the Super Bowls when you're like, well, he's hurt. How there's no way they can beat that San Francisco team,
Or
and
the
they
Eagles
beat
team.
him. Or like
Well, okay.
he wasn't even healthy in those two Super Bowls, and they won. So I was glad that they lost this week. They need to lose because they should have. I mean, the first 2 games they should have lost, and they won.
Yeah. So
It can be
So
like a 2-win team,
and they get
with
a
like a
little
couple, like one play in
they
each
get a little
game.
help the other players. So when the refs got your back, it's hard to
That's
lose.
very true.
and then so if they're not careful, if they don't get it together.
I do think they're pretenders, but they
Yeah,
pretend
the
well.
thing is, if they mess around and lose a couple more games, they could be looking up to one of the division rivals.
Yeah.
They could be looking up to the Chargers because Harbaugh and that scheme they're running. Even though the Bengals came back on them in Monday night, they and McPherson missed that field goal. They still went down and did what they had to do, and they won that game.
Yeah.
And his philosophy in there is they bought in, and the
Mhm.
Chargers are going to be scary for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
I don't want.
I think next year is more their year.
Yeah,
I
but
think
I wouldn't. I'd still be scared of. Justin Herbert was that before the during that Bengals game, he was just throwing it, and everybody was getting the ball, passing it around.
I
Running.
think they need a speed element on that offense. I think a lot of the receivers are big. I think they could use a guy that could do shifty underneath stuff. But yeah, I think the Chiefs got to watch them.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think
And
I
the
think
fact that we have them watching somebody behind them in the division, I think, is what makes you like they're
Yeah.
not a contender.
yeah.
Exactly.
I think next year is gonna be the Chargers
We'll
more.
see.
Yeah.
I do. I think this is still like filling out, but I think they should be worried. A lot of these teams should be worried next
Yeah.
year.
Which brings us to the AFC North, the
Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
As long as they won on all field goals, but they won.
They won. I think it's gonna.
Unfortunately, they're
I
contenders.
think the playoffs is gonna.
They're contenders, and now they're contenders now for Super Bowl.
No.
If they can't get that O line fixed up,
My only thing on that is, but they just beat them with all field goals. But Baltimore was almost like with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, that's a Super Bowl guarantee.
They said they were a
And then Pittsburgh beat them.
Yeah, I get that, but
Look,
then,
So that means that your
Pittsburgh
most
is-
explosive teams, they can
this
still
is
beat
what-
them.
It's
Pittsburgh-
the same thing. I'm sorry. This is what the Pittsburghs. This you know me. This is what the Steelers do. They're
They-
regular season players. It's the playoffs. Like we gotta worry about. And are they gonna go through the full playoffs? Because
who knows if they're anything like that 05 or 08, or they're anything like that 08 team, and that 2012 team that lost to the Packers, they may just get there.
it's something like the 018 to me. Like the 08
No, the 08 team was that was Troy Hines last year. That was Ryan Clark. 2012 is when they lost to the Packers. That's when Ben was hurt and
Yeah.
what's his face, the center Pouncey was hurt, and they still played in the Super Bowl. They weren't 100%, but they somehow almost pulled that shit out.
Yeah.
So and when they have a good defense like that, you can't
Yeah.
count them out.
I mean, there's so many weapons.
Yeah, and then
Patrick Queen, Peyton Willis, Hightower, T.J. Watt. Who's on their front still?
you say Highsmith, you got Preston Smith.
Do
in
you
the
think
shot.
this might?
Preston Smith. I forgot Preston.
You think this might be the Steelers' year then?
It could be.
If they put it,
If they had more
There would be
offensive
no
ability,
peace with David.
if they had more offensive ability last year, they would have beat Buffalo, and it would have been a push.
Mhm.
But that offense couldn't do.
Like I
anything.
said,
Yeah.
if they would have played them that first time when it was all that snow and they didn't move the date, and they would have played them like they should have, they would have beat them because
Buffalo can't run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would have beat them.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Which is another reason I also say because that's been their problem in the playoffs is they
Can't
need to
run.
be able to run the ball and they can't.
But
And
they-
now that's what they do best.
They
But
run.
anyway, we're talking about the Steelers. Well, that's about wrapped up. I think
mean-
we're all calling them a contender, but it's kind of it is a more
we also
outside contender.
we also know the Ravens are going to make the playoffs just right behind them because
Yeah, and I mean that's a
Yeah.
tough game. If they played it again, who knows what happens?
if they'll play each other 3 times, you probably more like
No, Mike Tomlin beats Lamar Jackson.
yeah. The
Maybe
Ravens
they'll
don't
run it more.
Ravens
this
don't
time.
want to see the Steelers in the playoffs.
Nah, not again.
No, they don't. But maybe they'll run it more. And
Who knows? We'll see.
And
Texans.
yeah,
they
that
got-
brings us to the most fraudulent team in
Texans-
probably all the divisions.
Texans are going to win it just because our division sucks.
Oh yeah, but as a Super Bowl contender, they're trash.
No,
They're trash.
TJ Stroud hasn't thrown a touchdown in like 3 weeks, and
Jared Goff threw 5 picks and they beat them like
He didn't throw a
substantially.
touchdown. They just ran in Dallas.
Mixon had 3 touchdowns running, and then
I stopped watching
and then the
the game.
defense
I
had
did,
that
I'm
the
sorry.
defense
Had that
fumble
Double fumble.
yeah.
When they stopped us, when we,
After the
we
field goal?
took with this field goal off,
Yo, when
And then
he
they
kicked that
stopped them.
60-yarder, I was like, damn, Timmy gonna win on field goals. And then they said flag. I was like, oh, he took away 6 points from
when
him.
they did that, because he already missed the one.
I know.
And then when they
If he
took
would've-
off, and then what's the comedian? I was watching ESPN. I was watching Eli and Peyton. He was like, "You really want to take the points down?" Like,
Zach,
yeah, you can get.
yeah.
Yeah, like if you can get 7, you go. And when they stuffed them, I'm like, I'm done.
Maybe he's right. Maybe
I
we
was like, they
shouldn't
should've
have
left
taken
the
the points off the
3
board.
I'm done. And I like because they had the TV on like in the background
And
kind
you
of,
know,
so I
and
like to
the
peek
funny
over
part
every
about that
once in a
game,
while. But
Cooper Rush was putting the ball on your receivers, and a lot of them were like, "Oh, drop, oh,
it was
drop." I was like, "Yo,"
it's so
and
frustrating.
he didn't get upset. He just said, "Hold back up, let's
It's
go."
frustrating. It really is. Like
Mhm.
like Dak was going crazy up in the
Oh yeah,
suite.
yeah.
Like it's so frustrating. Like to watch.
I don't know. Maybe being up
talent-
in the suite, he'll see something with the team, and maybe that'll help him when he gets back on the field.
I don't know.
Maybe he can see someone up top. Maybe he notices something. Yeah, who
The
knows?
talent's there.
But that's
it's
next
just
year.
moving it together. But
So-
I don't know how. Oh, because the Texans.
Yeah,
Like
the
I don't know how we got there, but
Yeah.
they beat the brakes off of Dallas. So I mean,
But that's
And the thing is,
Dallas is
and-
fighting
and-
for
and
number
it's
one
we're
just-
back.
not good.
and
That's
it's-
not saying we
I was
are.
so
I'm just
shocked.
saying.
And I don't think it should have been worse.
Well, no, I'm saying I'm surprised that he didn't throw a touchdown.
but
That's how we got there. I was
Joe,
surprised he
but
didn't throw
Joe
a
Mixon was
touchdown.
just
Oh, yeah.
running over.
We
y'all.
can't stop the run.
It was
yeah,
horrible.
so-
When I saw him bouncing outside twice, I was like, "Damn, can't nobody get him?" He was like, "Ha ha!" I was like, "Oh my god."
They were worried about him running out of celebration dances.
Yeah.
It's always the Trump, you know. So.
Mm. You see, John Jones did that when he won.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he pointed right to him.
It's special, but
John Jones is crazy.
I don't want to say fakers because
Oh, they're definitely pretenders.
They're not as good as they were last year.
they're not as good as they. What you know? How
And they have more
go.
talent on the team.
Well, I think it's also because tape. We got tape for
You have
Strap.
tape. You know things.
He was
that
rookie last
knew.
year.
He's-
I know
and
your
I said
and your
that.
coach. Like
It's a
your
lot.
whole team is a
It's
young.
a lot
knuckle-
harder
yeah.
the second time than it is the first time because you have things to work with.
Well, that's why Dan Campbell, when they lost in the NFC Championship last year,
You might
was
not
like,
get back. Yeah, you might not get back.
"Yo, that might have been it."
Yeah.
Like, I don't think y'all understand how good, how hard having an NFC title game.
I
like
think,
that.
but I think that also put so much fire under them.
I think
Yeah.
he grew. Some of the chances he takes, they're there, but they're not quite there. You know, like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but this year I don't know what it is. The fire in them. Jameer Gibbs is running with him.
I mean, their speed back is pounding people. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like
yeah, they're mean. They're nasty.
Yeah.
I really like if they go out in the playoffs this year, I'm gonna be really like shocked.
Really
like,
shocked.
Yeah.
I want to be the Eagles.
if they do, it's because Jared Goff lost them the game.
Oh, I hate the Eagles.
Unfortunately.
Poor golf.
Yep.
Poor golf.
But yeah.
So who do you think? Is that who you think the best team in the league right now is? Detroit.
So you think it'll be like a Lions Bills Super Bowl?
I could see Lions Bills.
It could
Then
be.
the Bills gonna lose again.
It could be.
That'd be cool. Two teams that haven't won before. Somebody has to be the first one.
I'm put this way.
Bills.
I can see Lions Eagles NFC Championship.
They gonna
Lions
need
going.
an
And
NFL
I can see
hotline
I
for
can see
Bills
AFC
fans. Dog.
Championship. I can see AFC Championship being the Bills.
Steelers.
If it's not Bills, Steelers, it'll be Bills.
Bills, Chiefs.
Bills, Ravens.
I think it's big Bills Chiefs.
I think it's Ravens.
I
I think Ravens make an AFC Championship again somehow. Pulling it through because the way their schedule fell, people who could beat them get knocked out, and then they'll be like,
Have Pittsburgh take
It
the
is
Chiefs out
something
already.
about
Yeah.
this Chiefs. I'm
and
telling
then
you.
Pittsburgh like has to face like
I'm-
the Buffalo behind it next week.
Yeah.
and they're, like, loses.
Mahomes, that game he went out and they thought he was hurt. He came back. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if he done
But like we
signed
said,
his name.
we see
just-
how bad they are. They get in the playoffs. They're like, hey, it's
All
time.
right, what episode is this? This is episode 71.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
gonna remember this one. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
Hit us on Instagram and X.
Go through this. What do you think? Who do you think? Pretenders or contenders? You know, comment.
Would you fire?
Talk to it.
Would you fire Harbaugh?
Did you what?
Would
Oh.
you fire? Would you fire
Oh
Harbaugh?
my god!
You fire? What?
Great, strike.
We'll talk. Peace.